Welcome everybody to our third Give Today podcast, or as Bryony would say, podcast. Today we're joined by Lenny Davis, who is our non-executive director at Give Today.
Good to be here, guys.
Good to have you.
Yeah. So Lenny, I mean, for people, well, everybody who doesn't know you, what is your background? Where do you come from, and what do you do?
So I'm originally from Liverpool, although my accent might be toned down through moving around a lot.
Yeah.
I'm basically a marketeer, and I'm a one-stop shop for all things marketing. But a big passion of mine is working with the likes of, or helping, if possible, people who are in fortunate circumstances, from a lot of us who've just been down on the luck, whether it be, through loss of job, an illness or breakup of marriage and so on, where their life has just spiraled out of control. Literally, they're down in their luck. So it's about sort of using experience or people that you're connected with, and see what we can do to help people in these kind of situations.
Amazing. So that was that was sort of how we met, how we came to meet, wasn't it? Which was, I guess, probably 3 years ago now that we met each other.
Wow, is it that long?
It
wow.
was, yeah, that long. We met at the Manchester Homeless Partnership meetings.
That's right.
I was there sort of to discuss my ideas about doing this app/website for what it is now. And you were there. Well, I mean, what was your reasons for being there?
Well, working in Manchester at the time on various restaurants doing marketing and customer journey projects. Obviously, walking through from the station to them businesses, obviously see a lot of people who are living on the street, and it really sort of gets under my skin. Seeing that, obviously, we're in at the time, it was a few years ago, and we're still seeing it now in 2021, if not more. More people in these situations. I've got no experience; it's just what I think, and I just wanted to try and do something where we could potentially help these people through businesses across Manchester and further afield, where we could potentially get people who are sort of off the street but in temporary accommodation, looking to get the life back on track, and hopefully try and get them some career training for a role within a business.
Amazing. Yeah. I remember that was one thing I think I touched on this in the first podcast. It was the first time that because we met at the homeless partnership meeting, and then we went on to meet again in Altrincham. And I remember just like the passion that you had for it, and I remember at the end, like, you spoke like 1,000 miles an hour, and it was you could tell that you were really passionate about, and still are, and you do a lot of volunteering, don't you, for various charities as well?
Yeah, that's right. These people, at the end of the day, it can happen to any one of us. Loss of job, or loss of support network when you're sort of down in your luck, and things can quickly go wrong, and and before you know it, you could be in the worst case scenario of sort of being on the streets or couch surfing. People need to stand up and try and support and help these people where possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it was only today that I saw that Shelter had put something out that was challenging the opinion that people only end up homeless because they've been evicted from their homes. And there are so many situations where people can find themselves without a home.
Well, I mean, at the moment, it's COVID. We spoke about this, Lenny, didn't we? We were actually, before COVID, we were going to be sort of doing these sort of talks to businesses and explaining to people that the idea that you can become homeless is something that can happen to anybody. It isn't something that you need to have a drug problem or need to be in a financially difficult situation in the first place. That the idea is that you can be financially comfortable, and something can happen that makes it spiral out of control. And that sort of has happened en masse now, with people losing their jobs and being furloughed and all those other things. So I think we're sort of yet to see the real effect of what is going to eventually be a housing crisis, I fear, of people. Hopefully not, but
because we certainly haven't at the tip of the iceberg yet with people in predicaments through COVID, through being furloughed or being made redundant. Everyone has seen in the news there's been a lot of redundancies. Even as yesterday, John Lewis, a saying they're going to close X amount of stores once once the stores are allowed to open, and there's going to be at least 1,000, if not more, people, and from there losing their jobs. So, and potentially what a portion of them people might not have, a support network or any other means of income. They could quickly find themselves, sort of on the edge within a matter of weeks or a month.
Absolutely. So, I mean, yeah, one of the things that we sort of moving on from those sort of things, one of the things that we mentioned on our last podcast, which I think is an interesting concept, especially with the three of us who work in the kind of environment of doing good things and pushing people to do better and help others and those kind of things, is what our thoughts are on somebody that's done a good deed and they've got their mate to film it. It's sort of that real divide of, is this a good thing to be filming your good deed, or should you just do it because it's the right thing to do? I've thought about this quite a lot. Because I think that, from my point of view, I think that anybody that shows themselves doing something good is a good thing. Because if everybody was if there was a trend, if there was like an internet challenge to do something good instead of pranks and all those other sort of things, it would be a good thing. If somebody's got a big platform and they're using that big platform to say, here's me doing something nice, I'm all for that. However, one thing I'm not for is when people are showing somebody that is in a very vulnerable position and almost making it so that if they don't consent to being on camera, they do not benefit from the thing that they're about to be given, whether that's money, a meal, whatever. That's where I do not agree with it.
I mean, on that point, James, it's where the individual or people become secondary to the person who's trying to benefit from it. In them instances, I agree with you. Raising awareness is a good thing, but it needs to be done through the right channels and in the right way, and not to be seen as a quick win scenario for, oh, hey, look at me, look what I've just done today, which is sort of what you can tend to find on Facebook quite a lot. So raising awareness in the right way about, it could be from across many topics or whatever, or scenarios, but doing it in the right channels and in the right way, and putting the people or individual first and foremost before looking to get PR out of it or raising awareness of it. At the end of the day, it's their needs and their well-being that's important.
Yeah, but I think there's nothing wrong with, for example, as a company, there's nothing wrong with advertising when you do something good. After all, you're doing it, yes, to make a difference in your community, but also to show people that you are a community-driven business.
Yes.
And there's so much that's important about that, especially as we live in this sort of global community now. It's very easy to lose touch with what businesses are working in your area and have a similar kind of ethos to yourself, I guess. And so I think it's still a really important thing for businesses to be able to say, this is what we do and we're proud of it, because there's nothing wrong with people being proud of the good deeds they do.
Yeah, and wanting others to see that.
Yeah, and I guess in them scenarios as well, somebody might do it for the first time. It might just be a spur of the moment because it's just thrusted upon them in a way. But the positive that you can get from it, hopefully, will drive them to continue to, in that scenario, to help and not just say, right, okay, I've done my good deed for the day and move on scenario. When things like that happen, people see the benefit of helping someone, to that individual and to the person who's helped, but carrying on and looking to continue to provide support.
Absolutely.
And I guess also providing the right support in terms of, we've all seen, oh, they can't be that hard off. I tried to give a homeless person a sandwich and they didn't want it. I went in and I bought them a sandwich and I gave it to them and they didn't want it. They turned it down, so it can't be that bad. And that's someone who thinks that just because they're offering something,
well, it's like beggars can't be choosers, isn't it?
It's the person is almost, they have to take it. They have to take that generosity. So, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
Sometimes people don't want a sandwich. They need a bit of help with something. Sorry if anyone can hear the cat in the background.
The cat's really
No, it's okay. I mean, a lot of the time I found in instances like that, I think a lot of the time people just want somebody to talk to them as well.
Yeah.
You know, which is, you know, it's giving time to somebody, you know, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes or more. It's just that interaction that, you know, somebody can have a conversation with another person, and maybe they haven't had a proper conversation for a while. And that's, you know, simple things like that that can go a long way.
Yeah, I've seen that Big Issue North have been encouraging local supermarkets and things like this. They encourage the staff to basically look out for their local vendor, because obviously Big Issue North vendors have their patch where they work and where they sell their magazine, and they're encouraging a relationship to grow then between the local shops and the vendor to allow that person to have, as you said, that social interaction element. And of someone caring for them and looking out for them, and, you know, even down to something simple like allowing them to use the facilities in the middle of the day, maintaining that humanity for people.
Yeah, try, you know, because, you know, there's been a lot of talk more so over the last 12 months through COVID, you know, people in isolation and the mental health and well-being and so on. But if you think about it, these people who are living on the street, they're in isolation. Okay, they might be out in the open and there's people around them walking past them, wherever you. But that's literally what they're doing. Nobody's really stopping and talking to them. So they're as good as being indoors, stuck in every day of the week, not being able to, you know, talk to anyone or have a conversation with anyone.
Yeah,
I think we can all appreciate the need for social interaction after the last 12 months. It's
I definitely. Think that, well, I mean, I hope that on a sort of not right down to people who are rough sleeping, but that what COVID has shown people is that not everybody that claims job seekers allowance or is on benefits is doing it because they are lazy or anything like that. That sometimes circumstance can mean that you have been put into this situation, and people who would never have dreamed of claiming from the government are now in a position where they have to do that. And I hope that that makes them see, actually, maybe I've been wrong about my judgment on the people that have done this in the past. And going forward, I won't be so quick to judge others and look at somebody without a job and go, you know, he should just get off his arse or whatever. It's, circumstance is so important. And as Lenny, you said earlier, the support networks are so important for people that if you don't have friends, family, or even just like a tutor or somebody, a care worker, whatever, who's there to look out for you, it can just spiral out of control very, very quickly.
Yeah, that's right. There's, you know, we've all learned a lot, and I think we can all potentially take one thing from this past 12 months, hopefully into the future, which will be the benefits of us all individually, and, you know, and keep that close to our heart to a degree, what we've learned from the past 12 months and how we, you know, we can help others as well. Because there's so many, I mean, I guess there's probably most people up and down the country know of someone who has, you know, either lost a loved one or lost somebody who's you know, been furloughed, lost their job, and you know, and really, really down in their luck. Maybe they're in a specific skill set job wise, and, you know, they're struggling to find another role in that sector, and potentially maybe having to try and retrain, and, you know, and that can be a big challenge to a lot of people if they've been doing a specific job role for, you know, a number of years.
Right, so I think we've talked for long enough on these topics, and coming up we've got our conversation we had a few weeks back now, Bryony.
We've been a little bit slow. Things have been a bit busy.
We have, but in honour of International Women's Day, which was on Monday, we'll be releasing our chat that we had with Sharon from WHAG, a Manchester-based domestic abuse charity. But anyway, Lenny, thank you so much for being on the podcast and chatting with us.
Yeah, thank you.
I loved it, and I hope to be on plenty more going forward.
Today we're chatting with Sharon from WHAG. So Sharon, maybe you'd like to do a little introduction for people who don't know who you are or who WHAG are.
Yeah, of course. So my name's Sharon Molly. I'm the service manager of Rose Court. Rose Court is accommodation for vulnerable women who are homeless, and we are WHAG. So WHAG as a whole are a domestic abuse service and homelessness service.
Excellent. Great. So, what sort of thing does your role entail? What sort of thing do you do?
So I manage Rose Court. I have a number of staff that I manage. Who we've got 2 daytime support workers, 3 evening workers, a floating support worker, as well as management. I also run. This was before COVID. I also run 3 groups in the community. So we've got 3 community centres, one in Rochdale, one in Middleton, one in Haywood. And within them community centres, I deliver wellbeing sessions. And it's not just about, well, as much as it's around wellbeing, we also do fun activities as well.
Yeah.
So that happens in each community centre once a week. But unfortunately, because of COVID, we've had to put that on hold. But I still do have regular phone contact with them just to check how they're managing.
Oh, that's good.
Brilliant. Yeah. What would you say is the best part of your job? What do you get the most job satisfaction or enjoy doing the most?
Bit of everything here now. So just going back to what I do here. I actually started at WHAG nearly 9 years ago as an evening support worker. And I then went on to a day support worker, and now I manage the project. So I've had different roles. So I've seen a lot of things happen within the 9 years.
Yeah.
So I think the best part about my job as a whole is seeing our clients progress in their lives, because most of our clients do come from difficult backgrounds. They have obstacles in front of them that they don't know how to get over, and seeing them make a change in their lives by making their own choices. Yeah. And progress. And I'll give you just a little example of a client I was working with about 5 years ago. She came to this project, very suffered from anxiety, depression. She wore a cap. She wore a cap on her head and would not lift her head up. Yeah. She wouldn't look you in the eye. She wouldn't remove a cap. And after working with her for about 3 or 4 weeks, she started giving you eye contact. And within a few more weeks, the cap then got removed from her head.
Oh, fantastic.
She actually came to me one day and said, "Have you seen what I've done?" And I didn't click on. I was like, "What have you done?" She said, "I'm not wearing my cap anymore." And I was like, "That is amazing." Yeah. And she said it's because she feels like she's getting somewhere in life, and she's got people to support her that are supporting her in what she needs. So seeing things like that happen, the progression is it's really heartwarming.
Absolutely. What a great story.
And thank goodness that you're there, and that people like you are there to support people that are going through such a tough time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Totally right. I mean, you don't realise how many women are out there. I mean, men as well, but we only support women. But how many women are out there that just need someone to talk to? You don't have to give them advice. You just have to be there to listen.
I imagine it's been quite difficult then for your service users with everything that's gone on over the year. How have they adapted, and how have your services adapted to continue to support them?
So, we can't blame anyone for COVID. So we've tried to keep things as normal as possible with our clients to as much as we can do. Yeah. Previous to COVID, we obviously had support sessions with them face to face. We have reduced that a little bit during lockdown, but we're still here. If they do need to see us face to face, we'll ensure they've got appropriate PPE, and staff are also wearing PPE, and we are there for them still face to face when needed. Now, what we have done as well is that the first lockdown that we had, we were looking at ways to engage our clients to keep active and keep busy with something. So we bought some garden games. Yeah. Okay. That was like a swing ball set, a badminton set. And again, that's, you can play them games at a distance, still be outside, getting fresh air, getting exercise, and not being cooped up in your property. I think they've all managed really well. We are, there are going to be some that are feeling it, in depression's getting worse, but we do as much as we can in regards to making sure they've got worksheets on how to manage depression, to support them with that. Any other kind of worksheets that we think that will help them within the home, we have been providing them with regularly.
Yeah. Excellent. So obviously recently you did your Purple Patch campaign. Could you tell us a bit more about that campaign?
Yes, sure. So the Purple Patch campaign, that's actually to promote healthy and positive relationships, and that's for all ages, within all environments. And it's also to raise awareness of domestic abuse.
Yeah.
WHAG have got a CIC company, a community interest company, called UP, and they deliver healthy and positive relationship courses.
Okay.
So what we've done recently as well, because of COVID, we've managed to get some money together and provide all our tenants with Wi-Fi.
That's fantastic.
Wow, that's good.
What we had to do to follow that on is to ensure that we've got some kind of sessions for them to attend. So UP offered free sessions to our tenants online on Zoom, and we're also next week going to be starting quiz nights with them as well.
Brilliant.
So yeah, Purple Patch campaign, that's great. Like I said, it's just to raise awareness.
Yeah, and it's great to be finding new ways to connect people together and to keep people social. And I think we'll all see going forwards that these things will continue, even as social distancing will disappear. I think things like Zoom quizzes, well, I certainly hope they stick around.
I do too, yeah.
Yeah, and with COVID like throwing itself on us, obviously we're looking at other ways to get clients engaged. So what we did do as well was we applied to Sport England for some funding for some bikes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we were successful.
Brilliant.
So we've purchased 5 bikes, and we've registered with Transport for Greater Manchester to come and deliver safe cycle sessions.
Oh, fantastic.
Wow, that's good.
And the best part was I got to put the bikes together.
Is that something that you've done before, or was that
Nope, never before.
Well, you must.
And I did actually
by the end.
Well, I was questioning myself when I put the first one together, so I took it out in the car park for a little ride around, and it's safe to say I still remember how to ride a bike 20 years later.
Good stuff.
It's brilliant. There's been some incredible acts of kindness from members of the public throughout everything. From obviously there was Captain Tom doing his NHS, and on our personal note, we ran a PPE campaign which saw hundreds and hundreds of pounds worth of PPE going out to charities. Have you seen particular acts of kindness that have stood out to you that stick in your mind?
For WHAG, we have had so much especially this Christmas, and this is an act of kindness from a lot of people, not just organisations and businesses, but members of the community as well.
Yeah.
This Christmas we had so many donations. Our clients were, I think they actually got more presents than anybody that I know.
That's brilliant.
I'm not joking. We received, I don't know where to start. I'll just give you a few. So H. Bell & Sons, which is a contract company in Rochdale, they donated us some money to buy all our clients dressing gowns.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Now, who doesn't love a new dressing gown at Christmas?
Absolutely.
And you, John James?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
They also donated some gift boxes and chocolates. We received shoe boxes from a lady in Haslingden who collects them from local churches and schools. We had Christmas dinners delivered to our residents that had no family to go to from a local church. We had toys from the Toy Appeal for our clients who live in the community that have got children. And myself and the float support worker went out delivering them. And must I say, I was dressed as an elf.
Hey, well done.
And I actually had a little girl in the street stop me and say to me, "You Santa's helper." And I did say to her, "I'm the good one."
Yes.
I think she believed me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've just had an excess amount of donated items, and what we've done as well this year is, because we're aware there's a lot of homeless people in local hotels.
Yeah.
They've been put in there obviously because the homelessness due to COVID, they need somewhere safe and secure. So any excess stuff that we had, like coats and clothes and toiletries, we've donated to them.
Brilliant.
So it's getting shared amongst others as well.
Good. That's good to hear.
I think that's something that maybe people don't realise, is that obviously working in the charitable sector, other people working in similar charities, and that there will never be a donation that goes to waste. It will find its way to the best place possible.
Yes. So in terms of obviously you've been inundated over Christmas, what sort of items can people go onto your shop and purchase for you or bring in for you? What sort of things are you needing at the moment, would you say?
I think because of the pandemic and obviously, depression levels some clients' depression levels are getting higher and they're running out of things to do. And, I think anything kind of, any therapeutic or pamper items to reduce any kind of anxiety, depression they may have at the moment because of what's been going on. And I think, being able to pamper yourself or even colouring in therapeutic colouring book, that could take someone's mind somewhere else.
Absolutely. Yeah, we will absolutely push for those items to find their way to you. So there we go. Sharon, thank you so much for being on our podcast today. It's been lovely to speak to you.